Beyond the summer newsletter, I always liked English classes. I wouldn't say I was a fervent reader, but I enjoyed reading when I was a kid. And fast forwarding to high school, and I was on the newspaper staff. I followed my sister, Renee, who was also on the newspaper staff, and really enjoyed the camaraderie within the staff, and wrote some sports columns every week, and we published every week, so I thought that was really cool. And actually, I think the summer after my junior year of high school, went off to a journalism camp to learn and write some more articles. And so, really, in retrospect, I was kind of heading down this path of journalism before perhaps practicality took over. And my parents convinced me that a business degree would be more prudent path for me for a career. And so, really, after that, I journaled every once in a while, but for 30 years during my career in business, I really left writing behind until recently.
So, what sparked your return to writing?
So, as I mentioned, I journaled a bit during my career. Sometimes when we did a lot of traveling, when we lived in Europe for a while, sometimes in some of the more challenging personal times, I used a journal. And so I really enjoyed that when I reconnected. But probably the biggest thing that changed, two things that changed my path for writing later in life. One of them was a conversation I had with my father when he was in his early 80s, and we talked about his experience and things that he might have regretted in his life. And one of the things that stood out to him was that he shared for the first time to me anyway, when he was about 82, was that he had a passion for music. And I knew that he played clarinet a lot around the house when I was a little kid. But when he was at university, he was first chair in clarinet. He loved it. He was well commended for his talents, and he had a dream to go to Juilliard and have a musical career. And so, unfortunately, he ended up going off to serve in the Air Force for the Korean War. And when he came back to provide support for his parents in their clothing store. And so he really kind of passed on his dreams of a musical career, and maybe somewhat like me, decided or was convinced that he needed to pursue a more practical career that supported his family. And so, I mean, I really respect the choices that he made, and he made them for the right reasons. But I also felt like, especially if I had the opportunity to rekindle a passion that I had earlier in life, that I didn't want to be sitting down with my son when I was in my 80s, regretting that I missed out on an opportunity. And so I thought, well, when I have the chance, I'm really going to try and rekindle that. The other thing that happened is about 6 years ago, I had a pretty serious bike accident. I was out of work for over 2 months. So who's out of work for 2 months? I've never been out of work for more than a couple of weeks on a vacation. So when you're out of work for 2 months, and the people back at the shop are taking care of all the stuff, I was very detached. And so once I kind of got to recuperating a little bit from the accident and surgery itself, I started to do more writing. And so that really rekindled a lot of the passion. And from there, I really became determined that I wanted to write on a regular basis. Didn't know that I would write blogs and books, but I started to kind of reconnect with writing on a regular basis.